Something would have to go really, really wrong if Georgia's not going to win the SEC East next year. Who's going to be number 2 behind them? I don't think there's a clear-cut front runner, and a lot of people might think it's Kentucky, but I'm not convinced that it's that clear-cut. Not saying they're out of it, but not saying they're clear-cut. Regardless, Georgia should beat all those teams next year. Georgia should be in the SEC championship. I would be shocked if that does not happen. And I will be shocked if you do not buy DAWGSTRUCTION, our commemorative 80-page book of the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs National Championship season. It's a great book. You're really not going to miss out on it. Make sure you're going to dogpost.com. Ryan Curley from DawgPost here. Who's going to be number 2 in the East in 2022? I don't know. It's fun to talk about, though, because I think it could be any one of these 3 teams. I'm going to say this right now. It's not going to be Florida because I don't know what's going on down there, but I don't think it's very good. Are they going to be competitive? They weren't good this year. I don't think they're going to be good this coming season. That's where we're at right now with Florida. Georgia should dominate them again in that matchup in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. They should dominate them. And I would be somewhat surprised if Florida beats some of these other SEC East teams. I just don't think Florida's that good, and they're now out of the conversation. So you got Kentucky, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Those are the 3 teams I think are going to be fighting for number 2 in the East. It's interesting. They all are interesting teams to me. Kentucky loses their number 1 weapon in Wan'Dale Robinson. That's a big hit. They're losing an All-American left tackle. That is a big hit. Darian Kinnard. Totally blanked on his name for a second. But those are 2 huge pieces. You're losing Pascal, your defensive end. Those are all guys that were impact players for Kentucky. Big losses, but you bring in one of the more experienced quarterbacks in the league in Will Levis, a huge physical quarterback. You're bringing in one of the best running backs in the league in Chris Rodriguez, who's like 1,100 yards from being Kentucky's all-time leading rusher. So obviously he's pretty good. At least he's productive. So if you look at Kentucky, that was Georgia's biggest test in the East this past season when they won about 30-13 in a college game day matchup, a defensive battle. That's going to be in Lexington this year. Excited to go to Lexington and watch there. I've never been there before. 10-3 or 10-4, but Kentucky second in the East last year. They have a good case to follow it up, but Tennessee's, I think they like Josh Heupel. I think they do. The fans do, at least. When I talked to them in Knoxville this year, all the fans that I talked to, which was a pretty good bit, they really liked what Josh Heupel was doing, and they liked Hendon Hooker, and they know they have the talent on offense. So I think Tennessee is a team that can improve. I mean, if you look at the schedule, they were 3rd. They were right behind Kentucky. They were 7-6. They went 4-4 in the conference. Let's look at their schedule. I think they win their first 3 games for sure. Ball State, Pittsburgh, Akron, but jump into SEC play. Florida, I think that's a win for Tennessee. That's in Knoxville. I think that's a win for Tennessee. LSU is going to be iffy. I'd probably predict a loss. That's in Baton Rouge. So if we're looking at SEC play, 1-1, they're going to lose to Bama. They'll be 1-2. Kentucky's a toss-up. Missouri, I think they'll win that game. South Carolina's a toss-up. Vanderbilt, I think they'll win that game. Georgia's probably a loss. So, Tennessee, I think they could be better than 4-4. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. They could be 5-3, potentially 6-2 if they have a really good season in the SEC. I do not think they're going to beat Alabama or Georgia, but they have a chance to beat Kentucky and LSU. So I think they're going to beat the rest of those teams. Maybe South Carolina. It's a fun division this year. And guess what the most fun splash was? Spencer Rattler going to Columbia to be a part of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Look, that was their biggest issue this year, was not having a real quarterback. You rotate between Luke Doty, Zeb Nolan, the other guy. I don't even remember his name. That's my point. They're not memorable. One of them was a grad assistant that they pulled onto the roster. South Carolina was a disaster, and they still weren't that bad. They were 7-6. I mean, they won a bowl game. You're 3-5 in league play. I think that's going to get better, man. You got a tough schedule, though. That's the thing, is you got these tough schedules, and these are the 3 teams that I think they're going to play each other, and it's going to be like, okay, well, who's going to be number 2? Based off the schedules, I'm probably going to go Kentucky again, but it's going to be close. I think South Carolina's going to be right behind them. If you're asking me right now, my mind could completely change. I think South Carolina's got a lot of talent. I still believe that Spencer Rattler can be a very good quarterback. There's a reason why he's the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school. He's got an arm. Oklahoma, it just wasn't right for him. I think he's going to have a pretty good season in South Carolina. I'm not saying he's going to have a Heisman season, but he's going to have a good season. It's going to be fun to watch him struggle against the Georgia defense, but that's where we're at. It's Georgia and everyone else in the East, and if you think anything else, I think you're kind of dumb. That's where I'm putting it. Who do you think is going to be second in the East behind Georgia? I think it's between Kentucky, South Carolina, and Tennessee. I'm calling it Kentucky right now, then South Carolina, then Tennessee, in that order. DAWGPost.com, guys.